and welcome to the Talent Forward webinar. Thank you so much for joining us today. First, I'd like to acknowledge and appreciate that we are on the traditional territory of the Ktunaxa people, and we are fortunate to share this beautiful land with them and call it home. We are pleased to present this webinar in partnership with the Talent Forward program and the College of the Rockies, and have Columbia Basin Trust joining us as well today. Cranbrook continues to develop and grow as a community. Student talent provides businesses with a short-term labor source that can increase productivity. It's also a smart investment in building the skilled labor force we need for the future of the Cranbrook business community. Thank you to everyone who has joined us today. I'm certain that you will walk away with a better understanding of how to connect to student talent and how student talent can help you meet your business goals while contributing to the growth of our community. I would like to introduce Deborah Carty. She'll be our facilitator today. Deborah is the Vice President of External Relations with College of the Rockies. With 27 years of communications and marketing experience in the public and private sector, Deb Carty joined the college in 2019 as the Executive Director of Communications and Marketing before taking on a new role as Vice President of External Relations. Under this portfolio, she oversees international education and international projects, alumni and donor relations, communications and marketing, continuing education, contract training, and community and government relations. She is excited to enhance the college's reputation domestically and internationally, building partnerships in our own backyard and beyond. This year, as part of the college's 2-year action plan, she'll be focusing on leveraging its unique educational offer and showcasing its Rocky Mountain brand. So with that, I will hand it over to Deb. Thank you so much.
Hi, everyone, and please let me know if you can hear me okay. I think we're all good. I've turned off the cat mean and the dogs have some treats, so I think we're ready to go this morning, so it's all good. So welcome and thank you for attending. I hope all your friends and families are doing well during this challenging time. I'm so happy to be here today as your virtual host and MC. I don't get to do this often, so it's actually quite fun. This is a partnership between College of the Rockies, Columbia Basin Trust, and Talent Forward. Connecting college talent to your business is the third session in a very successful series that showcases all our students have to offer in the workplace, both locally and throughout the region. And today we have a good lineup for you. We'll hear from Daryl Bethune, who is our Dean of Business and University Studies at the college, who will tell us a little bit about how you as employers can partner with the college and benefit from student talent. And we'll also hear from Luana Scheifler, who is our School Works Program Coordinator. And Schoolworks programming is generously supported by Columbia Basin Trust. To close, what I'm gonna, before I move on, Kirsten Vandergren from the BC Chamber will give us a quick overview of Talent Forward and other funding resources. And I really do hope that this session will provide you with a really good primer on how to recruit students for your workplace, and also highlight some funding incentives and subsidies offered through CBT for hiring student talent. You know, it's an untapped resource out there, and our students are ready and raring to go. So this is a great opportunity to showcase some of the opportunities there, that how we can partner with our business partners out there in the community to actually enhance and grow the region. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a housekeeping tip today. So we generally would have a Q&A function if you look at the bottom of your screen. There's been a little bit of a hiccup. So what I would appreciate, we're not going to have Q&A as we go along. We're going to reserve those for the very end. But in the chat function, if you look on the very bottom, that's where if you have a question, please insert it there. And then what I'll do is I'll address it at the end, and hopefully we can answer most of the questions, and I'll direct that to our various speakers. But we're going to save that to the very end of today's session. So what we'll do, and also I want to remind everyone, we're actually going to record this. So if you weren't able to attend all of it, and if you have to pop out, don't worry, we'll have a recording for it for you to reference in the future. So I just want to quickly introduce our sponsor, Kristen Vandergren from BC Chamber. And Krista is the Program Manager for Talent Forward, a program run through the BC Chamber of Commerce and ACE Work Integrated Learning.
Great, thank you so much, Deb. So I just shared my screen here. We're really delighted here at the BC Chamber to be the sponsor for this event. The work that we do with the BC Chamber, our goal is really to help businesses connect with student talent. So we've been partnering with different institutions and chambers to run these webinars to help you just understand what your options are for working with students. And the supports that we provide businesses are, we do some one-to-one advising. So if you're not quite sure what institution you want to recruit from or what that looks like, you can connect with us. We run events like this, and we do have a number of resources as well that we'll highlight at the end. So that's all from me right now. I'm going to pass it back to Deb, and Deb will move us forward with the presentation.
Thanks so much, Kristen. I appreciate that. And thanks for the opportunity for letting us do this today. I know it's the third in the series, and I know it's been very well received. So very much thankful to the support that we're receiving from Talent Forward. So moving on, I'm happy to introduce Daryl Bethune to you. As I mentioned earlier, Daryl is our Dean of Business and of University Arts and Science at the college. And a little bit about Daryl: he started his teaching career as an English instructor at UBC and other lower mainland colleges before moving to Cranbrook in '92 to join what was then called East Kootenay Community College. He became department head for health and business programs in 2006, and in 2012 became Dean for Business, Arts and Science programs, as well as tourism, recreation, adventure tourism, and hospitality management. Along with his current role, he's responsible for articulation at the college and chairs the Curriculum Standing Committee, which reviews all academic course outlines, represents the college at provincial articulation committee meetings, and provincially serves as an expert reviewer for the Degree Quality Assessment Board. Just want to say a big thanks to Daryl for presenting today, because I know it's always tough to slot these things in on everyone's busy days. And I look forward to hearing a little bit about how employers can benefit from the wide array of student talent that we have here in our own backyard. Over to you, Daryl. Oh, you need to unmute, Daryl.
Thank you, Deb, and good morning, everyone. Thanks for the opportunity to speak today on how the college and the employer community can support experiential learning. The Talent Forward webinar is a great opportunity for us to increase workplace learning opportunities for our students. And with that, I'll get started. I want to first acknowledge that we're meeting today on the traditional territory of the Ktunaxa people, which is also home to the Kinbasket people. And we acknowledge, value, and honor all our Indigenous partners and are constantly looking for new ways to support the development of our community. So I'm going to spend about 5 minutes to introduce Work Integrated Learning, or WIL as it's called, and then go on to the opportunities for employers. This is a weird year to be talking about educational experiences, and I'm sure we're all going to be very happy to make a full return to our jobs and campus in September. But even in a COVID year, education is experiential, and by experiential, I mean going beyond the textbook and the blackboard. So here's a quick look at experiential learning in 2021. Today's classroom already builds in many types of curricular experiential learning, from science labs to business simulations to trade shop activities or field trips, robotics labs. One of our programs does sea kayaking, and they're out at the West Coast this week. College students role play in nursing labs. They run in-house hair salons. They run a restaurant operation at the Cranbrook campus, the Class Act. It's safe to say that all programs build in some forms of experiential learning. We're here today at Talent Forward to talk about the Work Integrated Learning, or WIL, where curricular experiences that are required in the program connect students directly with employers. There are many forms of WIL. The 9 forms that are endorsed by CWIL Canada, the Cooperative Education and Work Integrated Learning Canada, are these: apprenticeship. Trades apprentices are hired by a sponsoring company and work for pay under supervision of a certified journey person. About 20% of an apprenticeship is technical training at the college, and the rest is on the job. Co-op education, typically a paid work term of about 500 hours, relevant to the student's program. Typically, there is 1 co-op term in a 2-year program, and in a 4-year program like our business management degree, they would have at least 3 co-op terms. College of the Rockies is making a big push on co-op this year to prepare for co-op option in 2022. So I'm going to have more to say about co-op shortly. Internships is the third category, not offered at COTR, but typically a 12-month full-time placement at the end of an academic program, whether paid or unpaid. Entrepreneurship, again, not offered at COTR, but typically an immersion in early stage business development. There's future potential here in concert with our Office of Applied Research and Innovation and our new manager, Paul Teague, who's on the call this morning. Service learning. Service learning refers to meaningful community service as part of a classroom assignment. So a nonprofit might, for instance, get a business student to help with a business plan or a marketing plan as one of the student's course assignments. Applied research. The next category solves a real-world problem. Many of our BBA capstones students fit the applied research category. And I'll talk more about some of the projects that they've done in a few minutes. Again, there's future potential to expand applied research, both curricular and through our applied research arm. Next, the mandatory practicum. Most of our all of our health programs require one or more practicums in a community or a clinical setting. And there's lots of opportunities here to look at agencies that can support a practicum student. Typically, a practicum is supervised either by a faculty member or a supervisor at the site. Field placements, often these are what don't fit the other categories. So for instance, we have a timber frame program that does a community project every year and provides intensive part-time hands-on experience in a relevant setting for our students. The last category of work experience, we have several COTR programs that require a work experience period, including our adventure tourism business operations program in Golden, our tourism management program, and our recreation management program. Work experiences here in Cranbrook require about 140 hours of paid work. And as we bring on co-op option, we may see work experience segue into a more formal co-op role for our students. If the previous two categories were considered curricular in that they are built into the teaching and learning at the college, the co-curricular activities are the experiences that take place outside of a program. For many students, it's the co-curricular activities they remember as the best experiences in college life, and the activities where they first got a chance to show their initiative and explore their potential. But will is our topic. So I'll focus on the types of will that are most important at COTR and where your businesses can have the most impact. There are 7 types of will at COTR, and of these, the most work-like in that they involve a formal employee-employer relationship are the apprentice, co-op, and work experience forms of will. I'll put together, or I have put together a contact list, so you don't have to take notes on this, and there'll be a handout that gets sent around so that people can follow up separately. A few observations to help you think about the possibilities. Trades, apprenticeship is the first one. And for those that can create an apprenticeship position, you can consider hiring a trades foundation student. Our foundation model is an alternate path into the apprenticeship, and it replaces level 1, or in the case of welding, levels 1 and 2. So employers sponsor the remaining apprenticeship levels when they hire an apprentice. New to the college this year in our professional cook program will be a 3-year e-apprenticeship partnership with Camosun College, which will better support the apprentice experience through all 3 years of a professional cook apprenticeship. Co-op is already here at COTR, at least in Invermere. COTR has run a co-op program at the Invermere campus in hospitality management for several years now, and our students have worked summer co-ops throughout the Columbia Valley. They've worked at places like Copper Point Resort, Panorama Mountain Resort, Canada Inns, Best Western Prestige, Radium, Eagle Ranch, Kicking Horse Coffee, to name a few. What's new next year is that we are bringing co-op option to the Cranbrook campus and the Cranbrook programs. Co-op option gives diploma and degree students a summer co-op experience. Co-ops will take place in the May to August period of 2022, between the first and second year of a student's program. And as I mentioned, BBA students with co-op option will complete 3 co-op semesters. A co-op is a paid work experience, 500 hours of paid work. It's relevant and meaningful to the student's program. It's supervised. It's managed through assignments that are running through the co-op experience. And it relies both on employer feedback, student feedback, and observations by the practicum coordinator. We're very excited to bring co-op to more students at COTR, and we'll be asking regional employers to work with us on developing co-op positions. I mentioned earlier that tourism, recreation, and our adventure tourism programs all require a work experience as part of their program. These are less rigidly defined than a co-op, and they're generally shorter. This year, students are already placed in most cases. And normally the students are doing their own job search. We provide them with background. Is my screen still showing?
Yes, you're good, Daryl.
Okay. We provide them with training in the job search and then assignments while they're out in their work experience. The recreation students typically get placements in community recreation programs with municipalities, and many of those in aquatics-based training. The tourism students, it runs the gamut. It's a lot of frontline service jobs, normally in food and beverage or accommodation. This year, a lot of service-based jobs in many local businesses and department stores, where they're picking up relevant customer service skills. All but 6 of our 23 students in tourism management this year have already completed their work assignment, but we would love to develop our list for next year. Co-op, as co-op option comes in, is going to fill the same slot in the student program as the work experience course does. So employers can think about either the work experience option, which is the shorter, more informal option, or the co-op semester option. Move on to practicums. We place many students in community settings in the health and human services programs. If you are connected with a community agency that supports seniors, youth, or something in between, there may be a practicum role there for one of our students. Our practicum students support agencies throughout the East Kootenay, and here in Cranbrook, that would include Street Angels, Better Babies, Cranbrook Public Health, Cranbrook Community Connections, and others. Internationally, the Meisha project in maternal health has been running for years in Kenya, with support from practicum students in the practical nurse and Bachelor of Science in Nursing programs. One new item to mention here is the cook training program, where this year we're creating a 1-month practicum for international students that will come at the tail end of their program, so March or April of 2022. And we're exploring the option of adding a practicum month as an option for the domestic students in the professional cook program. Moving to applied research, our Bachelor in Business Administration in Sustainable Business Practices requires each student to do a 1-year project on sustainable business practices in partnership with a regional company. Our students have worked with Canadian Mountain Holidays, BC Restaurant and Food Services Association, the St. Eugene Golf Resort and Casino, Kimberley Trails Society, the Regional District of East Kootenay, and many others. 34 projects have been completed to date. And the photo at left is the composter that has just been installed at COTR this winter for food waste that comes from the Cranbrook campus's professional cook program, the cafeteria, and the Class Act dining room. Diverting food waste from regional landfills lessens the college's environmental footprint and also creates an amazing compost product for our gardens and plants at the college. The original capstone project that was supported by our sustainability committee involved a waste audit that analyzed the quantity and the nature of waste destined for landfill from our Cranbrook campus. That project created a baseline and identified waste management strategies for the college. And the result, with CBT support, is the composter that you see in the picture. And that just got turned on in the last few weeks. Oh. I have a few other examples of capstone projects. One student did a project to recommend a control method for commercial beekeepers to control and manage the first small hive beetle outbreak in BC. That project brought together resources from the BC Honey Producers Association, the BC Beekeepers Association, the Ministry of Agriculture, apiary inspectors, WildSite, and the CBT to determine the most environmentally friendly, economical, and sustainable approach. A third project involved solar installers and the public on the stories, successes, and challenges of solar installations in homes and small business. A fourth example, this one international, one student project in the Dar es Salaam region of Tanzania reviewed barriers for small-scale farmers that hindered them from using biogas technology as a renewable fuel option. These capstone projects by our BBA students are great examples of supervised research projects that can help employers look at new ideas and perspectives. Now, to move to service learning, the college often has courses where assignments can pick up on the needs of nonprofits or agencies in town. We have courses like our entrepreneurship course, Management 316, that teaches students to develop business plans, or our Introduction to Marketing course, Marketing 281, that does the same with marketing plans. So an assignment in these courses could be adapted for service learning, which connects students with a real-world agency or not-for-profit and helps them with their own business plan or marketing plan. And as I mentioned earlier, the Timber Frame program does something similar when it takes on a project for a local agency. So we're excited about expanding co-op opportunities and other forms of work integrated learning for our students. And as employers, you can help. Is your business looking for new skills? Do you want to hire graduates and keep them in the region? Does a co-op student support your summer workforce? Do you need some research on a business problem? We can help in all of these areas. To get more involved, you can do two things. And as I said, there's a handout with all the contact information that will be sent around later. The first thing is to register as an employer at the Experience portal, which is part of the college website. There are over 150 employers that are already registered with the college who can post summer jobs or permanent jobs at the COTR Experience portal. The second is to talk with us about WIL positions like co-op, practicum, apprenticeship, and work placement, or about projects with WIL elements like BBA capstone applied research projects. We'd love to start that conversation, and we can work with you to build a lot of work opportunities for students. Email wil@cotr.bc.ca to get on the list. And our goal will be to reach out to you through the year, especially for the emerging opportunities in co-op option, to identify positions and get organized for 2022. So on behalf of the college, I'd like to thank you for your interest in creating positions for our students, and we'll take comments and questions at the end of the webinar this morning. Thanks very much.
Thanks so much, Daryl. That was quite informative, and I know we have a couple questions, and we'll be addressing those at the end. So our next speaker today is actually another member of the College of the Rockies team. It's Lorna Scheifler, who is originally from Calgary, joined us in, let's see, 2010. But before she joined us, she actually worked at St. Eugene's and Kukanusa Publications. She is our Columbia Basin Trust Schoolworks Program Coordinator, and she's going to tell us a little bit about 3 Schoolworks streams, which include the Schoolworks Program, the Apprentice Wage Subsidy Program, and the Co-op Wage Subsidy Program. That's a lot to say in one word, in one sentence. And so I welcome Lorna to join us. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Deb. Good morning, everyone. Very nice to meet you. So I have been asked by the Columbia Basin Trust, Lisa Kilpatrick, who has now left the trust and has moved on to the coast. And I'm now dealing with, working with Katie Kendall, who is the Senior Manager of Economics at the Columbia Basin Trust. I've been very fortunate to have started the pilot program, Schoolworks program. Just a little bit of history. Summer Works was initiated by the Columbia Basin Trust, and the college bid on an RFP and was granted the contract. That was in 2009, and the Schoolworks followed suit a year later as a pilot, which I coordinated back in 2010. And the Schoolworks program, so again, Deb has mentioned there are 3 streams. The trust has provided a slideshow that includes 5 programs, including the Food Producer Wage Subsidy program, which the college is also coordinating for the trust for the 2nd year. The Schoolworks provides a part-time wage subsidy, $8 wage subsidy for full-time employers throughout the Columbia Basin, and that coincides with the school year, September through until the end of May, and it would high school students would be eligible as well as post-secondary. In 2015, the apprentice component was introduced. I believe there were 7 apprentices that were eligible. Now there are 17. 7 of them the college offers, which is very exciting. And we are also coordinating the co-op program, which was introduced in 2008. So, of course, the apprentice and co-op fall into the WIL learning experiences. The co-op, again, supports students to gain experience for their practicums. I have a slideshow, so I'll show that to you now. And so again, we've got Schoolworks, Summer Works, Schoolworks Apprentice, the Schoolworks Co-op, and Basin Food Producer. The Schoolworks subsidy provides wage subsidies to employers to help them hire full-time, as I've mentioned. Who can apply? Small businesses, nonprofits, First Nations, communities, and local governments with business headquarters located within the Columbia Basin Trust. The apprentice, and I should mention the Schoolworks is currently closed, as is the apprentice. We are still accepting applications for the co-op program. The apprentice program supports hiring first-level apprentices for full-time employment to complete their first work-based training requirements for the 17 different trades. It also supports the retention of participating apprentices if the employer chooses to retain them to complete their second level of work-based training requirements in the same trade. So that a year typically looks like 40 weeks of employment. It's usually 1,000 hours that each trade needs to have for that first year. It's also very important for employers to review the program guide, which is always posted on the Columbia Basin Trust website, or of course you can contact me, I can send you that information, because there are eligibility requirements for the employer and the apprentice. And one of the stipulations for the apprentice is that he or she must be currently registered in the technical training program, or intends to participate a year after the start date. So often employers will hire someone as an employee just to sort of give them a trial run and see how they do, and then they would hire them on the wage subsidy program, and then that apprentice would later enroll in the program. We've had some challenges with COVID, unfortunately, but Marlon Match with the ITAs I've worked very closely with him just with regard to what schools are offering the programs. There's also a website as well, which is very important. So the co-op wage subsidy program is eligible to small businesses, nonprofits, local governments, and First Nation communities. And the subsidy provides employers to help them hire post-secondary students enrolled in full-time education and participating in a recognized university or college co-op education program. I recently had an inquiry where the employer was wanting to hire the students on a practicum basis and an internship. So again, the program guidelines, I highly recommend that the employer reviews the guidelines just to ensure that they're meeting the requirements. And we currently have a student that starts, I believe, May 1st from the Valley area, who is participating in the hospitality program at college. So that's very exciting. And yeah, so again, school works, full-time student, part-time musician during the school year. The job itself must be career-related. The trust had changed that requirement in the last few years, just wanting to ensure that the student gains meaningful work experience. The apprentice is full-time, first and second level apprentices for in-demand trades. And the co-op full-time post-secondary students must be for a recognized co-op education program. And yeah, that's it for me. Not really sure what else to say at this time, but we've been very fortunate at the college to have been delivering this program, administering it for the Columbia Basin Trust since 2009. And just this past year, I just wanted to mention that the producer wage subsidy program was initiated just to provide support with increased demand due to the pandemic. So I'm very pleased to be supporting that program as well. And that's it. I'll look forward to answering any questions at the end of the webinar.
Thanks so much, Lorna. Appreciate that. And I wanted to say also thanks to CBT, Columbia Basin Trust, for all their support of these opportunities for our students in the region. It's certainly helpful to them to move on and get that wonderful portfolio of experience before they hit the real world running. So there you go. But thank you again. We're going to move right now to Q&A. So as I mentioned earlier, our Q&A function isn't really working just because of a little hiccup. But nonetheless, you can certainly send along any questions that you may have on the chat function. We did have a couple questions come in, and we also had a couple questions that we had in advance before the starting of the seminar today. So I'm going to direct this one to Daryl. So Daryl, if you want to be ready for this one. And it came in, I'm looking for a student for a short-term project. I'm not sure that co-op is the best option as it may be too long of a time period. And do you have any student talent programs that would work for a shorter time frame?
I would encourage the person to reach out to me and possibly to Jen Smith, who is our Student Employment Services Coordinator. Depending on the type of work or project that they're interested in, I'm sure we could point them in the right direction.
Okay, that's great. And just a reminder, everyone, that at the end of today's session, you'll receive a little link for feedback. We really appreciate that. It's not a survey. Well, it is kind of lying, but it is a feedback mechanism. And you'll also receive a handout with all the key contacts for the college and how you can work with us to find a solution for your immediate labor needs here in the area. So I do have another one here. And it actually just came in. Is co-op offered only in the summer or throughout the year? So Lorna or Daryl, probably Daryl at this one. Sorry, Daryl, I got you again.
Well, I'm sure Lorna could answer it as well, but the college's experience in co-op is still at an early stage. Our co-op requirement in the hospitality management program is a summer co-op, and it runs between their academic semesters. So we've actually adjusted the fall semester in Invermere for these students so that they come back at the end of the third week of September instead of at the beginning of September. And that's to accommodate the needs of the hospitality sector that really need to keep their employees through early September. Now, when you look at co-op option in the coming years, students will apply for co-op option and they'll make an arrangement with the employer and the college about the semester. Summer semester is the one that fits our traditional academic programming year because we don't do a lot of teaching in the summer semester. But a student could choose to take a semester off from the classroom and do a co-op in the fall from September to December, or in the winter from January to April. And I certainly wouldn't discourage a student that wanted to try that.
That's great, Daryl. Lorna, is there something you want to add to that?
Thank you, Daryl. I'd just like to add on that. So because every institution is different, every program is different, the program is very flexible just with regard to when the co-op placement will take place. We have 2 starting this May. Most take place in the fall, but we've also had some starting January. So again, as long as the applicant, the employer meets the requirements, providing a job description, providing an approval letter from the institution, and just meeting all the other eligibility requirements for the program, they are usually approved. But every situation is different for sure. Some are shorter, some are longer hours. There are a minimum and a maximum of hours. But again, the program guide provides all kinds of information on that. So.
Thanks so much to you both. Just another one, and it's actually a thought about what the college can do to help find a student for an employer. And then it's also the thought about, since we are living through COVID at the moment, if an employer has a business, is it okay to have the student work remotely?
I can address that. In my experience with the program, this year has been very interesting, and I think a lot of employers are very grateful. I'm just doing my phone monitor now because I'm not able to travel, unfortunately. So just in speaking with the employers, they've said they've had a larger pool of students to apply because they are, working from their home remotely. And with every job, there are, questions. Of course, there's questions with regard to working alone policies and that sort of thing. But to answer the question specifically, we have had a few students that have been working remotely, and they keep in touch with their manager on a weekly basis via Zoom, virtual meetings, that sort of thing. But I just wanted to add as well that the program itself has just been so well received, and particularly for the apprentice. We had an employer in Cranbrook who hired an apprentice out of Kimberley rather, who was working up north for probably 2 years, and he was able to move back, take his training at the college, work in Cranbrook, live in Kimberley, and acknowledging the fact that he wasn't making as much money initially that he was when he was working up north, but he was just so happy to be at home. And it really is, keeping the talent within the community, providing them the support. So yeah, it's worked very well. And this year's been actually quite successful with regard to that.
Thanks so much, Lorna. Daryl, do you have anything to add, or you're okay?
No, just a pitch to consider posting positions on the college's Experience portal. And the job search is a mutual one. Employers are looking for students, and students are desperate for jobs. So beautiful things happen when the employers make their jobs available or visible, rather, to students on our portal.
Yeah, and it's also interesting too that there's also, if you even have volunteer opportunities, Jen Smith is a great person to connect at the college for that opportunity as well. So it's not all about employment, it's also if there's a volunteer opportunity, because of course our students are looking to build that portfolio too and gain that valuable experience that will take them further into the business world. So while we have everyone's attention, I just wanted to sort of bring Kristen back into the conversation from Talent Forward, and she'll actually give us a couple insights in regards to other type of funding mechanisms that could be available to employers, so to bring on students on board. So over to you, Kristen.
Great, thank you. Yes, so we just wanted to highlight, so of course, we're really excited about what Columbia Basin Trust is doing to support employers with funding, but we did want to let you know that there is also other types of funding that may be available to you. And so through Talent Forward, we put together a resource that helps you understand some of the common provincial and federal funding options available to you. Of course, with government funding opens and closes all the time, so we are doing our best to try to keep it up to date. And of course, I also want to say with College of the Rockies, connecting in with them as well, they'll be able to probably give you some direction on this as well. But we did want to highlight one type of funding that you may not be aware of, and that is the Student Work Placement Program funding, affectionately called SWEP funding. And SWEP funding is federal funding. It's open to Canadian businesses and nonprofits. And it's offered through 12 industry delivery partners, meaning that if you're a specific employer in a certain industry, you might be actually eligible for this funding. And again, on the Talent Forward website, you can see a link down below here. We do have some information on the different types of SWEP funding. There are several types of general funding available through partners called through the TOP program and through the Magnet program. Again, if you do have questions about funding, we're happy to talk to you about that and help direct you in terms of what program might be appropriate to you. But through SWEP funding, you're eligible to get potentially a wage subsidy that is up to 50% wage subsidy. And in certain situations, you can actually get a 70% wage subsidy coverage, depending on the type of student that you are hiring. So certain populations of students are eligible for a higher wage subsidy. So we just wanted to let you know that that may be an option for your business. And of course, that makes it a lot more affordable if you're looking to bring a student on for a longer amount of time. So please do take advantage of that. A lot of funding partners have tried to make it as easy as possible for you to go through the application process and to get that funding. So just wanted to bring that to your attention. So I'll pass it back over to you, Deb.
Thanks so much, Kristen. That was really helpful. And my goodness, 70% wage subsidy. That sounds like a good opportunity for folks. Well, I guess if there's no other questions, I just wanted to sort of take a moment to thank all of our presenters this morning, and thank you for the Chamber, CBT, Daryl and Lorna, and of course, Kristen, sort of for bringing us all together to chat today about this. You know, I was a co-op student in my own life, many years ago, and it allowed me to walk out of university with a year's experience in my back pocket, and that allowed me to grow and use and leverage all those business contacts that I made to sort of continue on my career. And I still have many friends who I actually worked in co-op opportunities a long time ago. So it's such a beneficial program to think about how you can, keep wonderful talent here in our region and to move forward, because we can all be successful together. So I just wanted to say thank you so much. Glad you could attend, and stay safe out there. Thanks so much. Have a good day. Oh, and by the way, there will be a survey and a handout coming. Thanks so much. Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you, Deb.